All right, what's up everyone? It's Mr. Tran. Let's go ahead and review how to simplify radicals. Like Mr. Eagle mentioned in the previous video, you have radical expressions that can be either rational or irrational, right? Radical expressions are rational when they are actually perfect squares. So in order for us to even simplify radicals, we need to actually create our list of perfect squares. Remember, perfect squares are the numbers that you can actually simplify to get you a whole number, right? For example, the square root of 4, right? You can simplify, you could do in your head, that's going to give you 2. Right? And let's go ahead and complete this list. Square root of 9 is going to give us 3. Square root of 16 is going to give you 4. Square root of 25 is 5. And feel free to complete it in your head as well as we go along. Square root of 36 is 6. Square root of 49 is 7. And square root of 64 is 8. Square root of 81 is 9, and square root of 100 is 10. Great. That's your list of perfect square. Of course, it goes on and on forever. But for the sake of this video, right, you really only have to focus on the first 6 numbers, right? And so this is the process on how do you simplify radicals. You see something like this, you put it into the calculator, it's going to give you a decimal, right? Because it's not a perfect square. Great. On the regions, they're going to ask you to simplify the radicals. And that's a fairly simple process. The only thing that you really have to do is ask yourself, okay, with this number, what is this number divisible by with regards to this list, right? So you have 4, 9, 16, 25, 36. Square root of 8 is a fairly small number, so it's really only divisible by 4. This is the perfect square that it's divisible by. Therefore, all I have to do is just divide square root of 8 by 4. I'm going to split it up. I'm going to say square root of 4. And of course, 4 times 2 is going to get you 8, right? And so square root of 4 and the square root of 2 is going to get you square root of 8. And the last thing that you have to do is simply simplify. We already know that the square root of 4 gets you 2. So therefore, this final answer is just going to be 2 root 2. Okay? I'm going to show it to you guys again 2 more times so that you understand what the process looks like. I want to simplify square root of 24. So I match it against this list. What number is the square root of 24 divisible by? The only number that it's divisible by is going to be the square root of 4, right? So I'm going to say square root of 4, and 4 times what gets me 24? What's going to be 6, right? So root 4 times root 6 gets me root 24, and I simply simplify by taking the square root of the perfect square. Notice how the perfect square always goes on the left, on the outside. So square root of 4 is going to give you 2, so it's 2 root 6, and that's the final answer for what the equivalent of square root of 24 looks like. We'll do it again for root 32. Maybe I should have picked an easier, let's do something like root 27, okay? That way you can see a different variety. So square root of 27, is it divisible by root 4, root 9, root 16, root 25? Clearly it's going to be root 9, right? If you know your times table, so you simply put root 9. And 9 times what gets you 27? 9 times 3, right? So you have root 9, root 3, and square root of 9 is simply 3. And so here is your final answer when you are simplifying radicals, okay? Now, the only issue is what happens when you don't select the highest possible piece that this is divisible by, right? Here's one example of that, which is root 48, okay? So let's just say you don't know any better and you say, okay, root 48 is divisible by 4. You've put root 4, and 4 times 12 is going to get you root 48. Well, you can simplify this. It's 2 root 12, right? But it's not fully simplified because root 12 is still divisible by one of these numbers, right? So you always want to check to see whether it's divisible or not. In this case, it's still divisible by 4. So I'm going to leave the 2 out there, and I'm going to split root 12 up once again. It's root 4, root 3, okay? Root 4, root 3, it's going to simplify. Now, this square root of 4 simplifies into a 2, right? Because we know that square root of 4 is equivalent to 2 from up top. So all we have to do is write 2 parentheses 2 root 3. And then therefore you get 2 times 2, which is going to be 4 root 3, okay? That's if you don't fully simplify. If you started off fully simplifying, let's just say if you knew that root 48 is divisible by 16, you say 16, and 48 divided by 16 is 3. Square root of 16 is simply 4 root 3, and you all end up getting to the same answer, right? This is just the faster way of getting to it. You always want to divide by the highest perfect square possible.